Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Joel Hawksley with Jay and Washington, and you have tuned in to You Can't Make This Shit Up. David will be here in a moment. I'm sorry I'm late. I couldn't figure out which buttons to push, and you always know if Joel's pushing buttons, something's wrong. So here we go. I was getting a little feedback. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna play with this and we're gonna have it down to a science. Everybody, this is John, and John is our intern. He is going to take over for me shortly when David gets here. If David gets here. I think David wants to be here. So am I still getting an echo? Echo, 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 echo. Echo, 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 echo. Okay, everybody, I'm done playing. So I played the music. Hopefully it came through. Are you muted?
Right? Because you were getting the feedback. Well, it's also coming. I'm muted, but the sound is not.
So mute the sound then. There you go. That's a beautiful sound. That's a beautiful sound. Yep, okay. I'm working. Okay, so John's gonna take over for me when David gets here. So because I had a morning show already. I'm exhausted. I got in from Washington, D.C. I went to a holiday party at our Senator Rick Scott's home up in Washington, D.C. and had a lot of good contact. I was very surprised with the invitation list that he had, and I was very excited. To be invited. So I got to speak with Congressman Waltz, Congressman Franklin, Congressman. I know his first name is Aaron, but I'm thinking it's Evans. But I'm gonna have to look it up because these newly elected, we have 20. I'm so excited. David is trying to figure out how to get on here. So I'm so excited because how do you put this? 20. As a Republican, we have 20 Republican congressmen now. We have an entire super majority in our House and our Senate up in Tallahassee, but we sent 20 Republicans up there. So I got to meet quite a few of them. I'm excited for them. I think they're going to do an incredible job. And one of the feedback you get when you tell somebody, hey, my congressman is Corey Miller. I guess we know he got in. Okay, I removed him. I put him in.
I'm back.
He's back again. So yes, I'm gonna cut out of here shortly, but it's what Michael said and what Franklin said and what a lot of these people said about Corey is exactly what I think about. Corey hit the ground running. And they're excited to be working with him. They're glad that we have a congressman-elect that's actually going to do something and is going to be very involved. So we're excited down here. I'm excited to hear the feedback from the other congressmen. And I am just absolutely, for going up and coming back, I love Washington. But I can tell you, it is the swamp. It was a cold swamp. So it's, David,
Welcome back.
thank you. And are we going to say goodbye to you?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not goodbye forever, just
No.
a nice little trip you're going to take.
Yes, it's well deserved. Hello, John. Welcome. All right.
John's going to have the mic in a moment. I just wanted to say hi and give you guys a show. And let's hear what you guys have to say today.
All right.
Okay.
Here we go. So, hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Please hit the notification button if you're watching on YouTube or any of the other social media so that you get notified when we're airing. Notification, share, like. We want to spread our
Use my
community.
computer.
Okay.
I'm
We
going
wanna
to
make
take
sure
you out.
that
Use
our
my
community
computer just
is
because
aware of
if I come out, the sound's going
broadcasting.
to stop.
And
So,
that they get firsthand information about what we do, how we do it, and when we do it. So, welcome to this edition of You Cannot Make This Shit Up.
talk about Dunkin' Donuts.
You want to talk about Dunkin' Donuts?
No, you got to talk about Dunkin' Donuts.
Should we have like product?
No. You need to tell them what Joel said about Dunkin' Donuts because you need to take control of that conversation because you're the one who's going to be like shy.
No, I'll come up with something to say. Dunkin' Donuts, what you're saying is
The bathroom.
Locking the doors at Dunkin' Donuts, knowing that coffee does cause people to go to the bathroom. They have their doors locked. At least at this specific Dunkin' Donuts that Joel was at this morning during his podcast of the morning poop.
You can't make this.
You can't make this shit up. Well, welcome again.
Thank you.
Everyone. Hit the notification buttons, like, share with as many people as possible as we grow our community. Stuart Rhodes, and I want to talk about Stuart Rhodes, the founder of the Oath Keepers, very quickly. I've been following the Oath Keepers, particularly Stuart Rhodes, for a while, and I'm very intrigued in regards to the recent guilty verdict of his of the charges against him, seditious conspiracy. And before we get to all that, a little bit about Stuart Rhodes, what I do know of him. Stuart Rhodes, the founder of the Oath Keepers, was once in the congressional office of a representative out of Texas. What's his name? Ron Paul, correct? Because there's Rand Paul, his son, in Kentucky, but former congressman from Texas, Ron Paul. Stuart Rhodes actually was an aide in that office to him. But before that, Stuart was a graduate of or attended Yale University for a law degree. Before that, he was, I believe, in the Army. And he enlisted, I believe, during the time of our invasion into Iraq and also Afghanistan. My history of Stuart may be a little sketchy there, his military history, but I do know that he is former military. He is a lawyer. He received his JD from Yale. And while a student at Yale University, he wrote a paper, and I want to find that paper and read it. But in that paper, he had cause for concern about the government's intrusion into our rights and using the government, specifically the military, against American citizens. And this stemmed from 9/11 and all the political answers, or let's just be specific. And now I forgot. Oh, the Patriot Act 1, and then later the Patriot Act 2. But specifically the Patriot Act 1, and this is why I'm so intrigued by Stuart Rhodes. It's because of the fact that when our government at the time responded to 9/11, the attack on America, it was near unanimous that we enacted the Patriot Act 1, and I felt, and I believe Stuart Rhodes felt to some extent, that it was at that time that Americans signed away their rights and their privacy. And I believe, and I'll read the article, and I'll get back to this subject later. I'll read his paper, if it's available, about this exact same thing. This was an opportunity for, am I still here? Oh, there I am.
Sorry, hit the wrong button.
This was an opportunity for the government to say, okay, in order to protect you, we need to take away some of your rights. And I saw that, and I was very concerned at that time. And so I just want to bring this up because the guilty verdict came out this week. And seditious conspiracy is nothing to sneeze at. We're talking about the forcible, violent overtaking of our government. That's pretty much what the charges were. And I'm not going to get into the evidence or things like that. The verdict was given by a jury of his peers as something for him and his lawyers to vote. However, his original thought process while a student at Yale, and in this paper, I wanted to examine it. And again, I'll read this paper if it's available and come back to this subject. But it did trigger something in me when I learned about the verdict, about what I was thinking when the Patriot Act was signed into law. So just kind of threw that one out there, right?
I'd like to hear what John has to say about it, because he's looking over here. But you made a very good point. When fear, I'm always said,
Yes.
fear always creates a giving up. Right. If you're scared enough, you have no problem giving it away. So the whole point is, I think I'm hearing the purpose of creating what he did is one thing, but where he went is another. Okay, that's what John, talk about what you think.
Well, I would like to start off by saying I did not study for this.
Don't worry, we're going to come back to this. I just wanted to throw that out because it was something that, it triggered a memory of that day in 9/11, and then the debate in Congress about how to move forward in protecting us from events like this in the future. And I thought at that time with the Patriot Act, we were signing away our rights. And a lot of people were, go USA, blah, 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 blah. However, it was, I thought it was a sad moment in the history of America. But we'll get back to that as, we'll get more information. But this is pretty much the essence of you can't make this shit up. And the other, podcasts that we do.
Mm-hmm.
But welcome. We're glad to have you.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
You've already an integral part of J&W. And what do you think? What would you like to take away from, participating in these podcasts moving forward?
Well, I'm definitely learning from you guys doing these podcasts, because there are things that, before I met the both of you a couple of weeks ago, I really had very little interest in politics, in both local, federal, everything in between. Now I'm really picking up on a lot of other things, picking up on, a lot of the workings of mainly the county and how our local government is going on. But I'm getting a lot of takeaways from this. So
Right. Good, very good, excellent. I know that one of the purposes of what we're doing is, of course, part of our branding and marketing. However, we do want to bring to light our local politics and giving the disappointing turnout of this most recent election. There's a place for us. There's a place for this knowledge, and at the same time have a good time doing it. And I remember when Joel and I came together before J&W. We had Bringing America Together again. We still do, and we were doing the podcast, the Bringing America Together podcast, and it was on Thursday afternoons or any afternoon, and we will have a glass of wine, feature a bottle or something like that, or a craft beer, and
right.
it was laid back. But however, we were talking about how do we bring America together? What can we do as the premier consultants? Yes, we are here in Florida. How can we bring good people forward to represent some great ideas of the community? And, we're glad to have you on board. Spread the word. We're really excited about what we can do and how we're going to do it. So, excellent.
Cool. I'm back.
I mean, and
Thank you so much.
Of course.
When people see the title, when they see on the side of our cars, our magnets on the side of the car, at the top of the magnet, branding, it says you can't make this shit up. I've had people stop me and say, "Does it really say that?" And say, "Yeah, you can't make this shit up."
Hey, look,
That's really cool.
Look, I'm sitting at a traffic light when I was renting the car, and I had them on the side of the car, and the man says, "Can I take a picture?"
Mm-hmm.
I just started my real estate, company, and I'm like, "Yeah, we're more than happy to help you out." I think he just wanted a picture because he couldn't believe that you can't make this shit up. People are afraid to use the language that we use every day.
Exactly.
Look, it's a natural thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say bowel movement. I mean, come on.
It just doesn't have the punch,
it doesn't. It doesn't say what you all know what it means, but you can't make it up. You
Right.
can't make any of it up. Look at the transition of Orlando. Just since 49 people were attacked at a nightclub.
Mm-hmm.
The things that have happened here, the people who got elected after that, Stephanie Murphy comes in. You have the mayor going. I think the mayor wears more rainbow colors nowadays than I had a guy the other day when I was up in Washington. He says, "Is your mayor gay?" Because every time I see him, he has rainbows and all this other stuff. I said, as far as I know, I don't think so. I don't want to get into that, but it was just odd that even his reputation outside of Orlando is that way. And
Right.
I mean, the LGBTQ community was devastated. I mean, it was hurt, and we have a reminder every time you go down there past it. So my point is, what freedoms did we give up on that one?
Oh, privacy would be the largest concern. Collection of metadata from our various devices has been at the forefront of the concerns that I've heard in regards to the government spying on us. I put that in air quotes. However, people, didn't really look into the law before it was rushed through Congress and eventually signed by the president at the time.
Oh, you're talking about the Patriot Act.
Yeah.
I'm talking about just Orlando alone. How there was a shooting downtown. And the first thing the mayor decides to do is he puts the metal detectors in. So if you go downtown to
City Hall.
No, not at City Hall. I'm talking about downtown at the bars.
Oh,
getting
so
screamed.
You're talking about more recently.
I'm talking
the
even.
shootings
I'm just saying even that
Mhm.
triggered. Okay,
Mhm.
we've done it once before. I'm going to do it again. We're going to put metal detectors, so you don't have a weapon or anything if you're going to the bars. Okay, I don't have a problem. See, I don't have a problem with it, but I do have a problem being restricted and having to wait to enjoy myself. I mean, that's a frustration because some other idiot decided to do something inappropriate.
Or because the city is ill prepared to handle crowds of that magnitude because there's just not enough law enforcement available to monitor downtown, after hours on the weekend or a weeknight.
It's not Chicago. Listen, it's not Chicago where you have a police officer on every corner and like 6 different uniforms. I mean, honestly, I love Chicago, and I just don't know how you can have so many police officers and have so much in the news about crime. I mean, I'm not. I'm going to say I agree with you, and that's the reason we're here. Is look, we need people. I'm going to say this, and it's probably going to be like the most inappropriate thing.
Yeah.
But if I have an elected official, whether they do it or they don't do it, but if they need the drug dealer in the neighborhood, because they're on the drugs or they're part of the problem, why do you put them in office? You're never going to improve that area. And I'm just saying,
No, you make a good
I'm
point.
saying we do it all the time.
Yes, you do.
This person's she's or he's one of us. They're just down to earth. They're always in the news. Now, one side of town is looking at this like, why do they keep electing this person? And that side of town is going, we have the best representative in the world because status quo. Look, I'm going to come back to Orlando for this next one. You have drugs being dealt across the street from the police department. Right there.
Yeah.
And they're doing nothing about it. I
Somehow it benefits the city to allow it.
Well, we got a new police chief now.
He's gonna
We'll have another chance. But let's see. Once we have our police chief, will that police chief end up going down the road? No, I don't think Mina's going to give up his job.
No.
Wow, I just had this like everybody has a routine in our area. It's like you do this job, then you do this job, then you do this job. I mean, if you were mayor of a county and you still need a bigger pension, why don't you just get over there and become the school board chair? Yes, I'm sorry. Even if you are a Republican, Teresa Jacobs, you get called out on that because it's like, yeah, they love you. Yeah, they put their trust in you, and you got elected. But a lot of us sit here and go, those are my tax dollars, and she better start doing what needs to be done. I mean, shutting down. Like, I don't know what position people are on this. I know where Republicans and Democrats kind of go, but I want to be treated like an adult.
Sure.
I want to protect you from disease by staying 6 feet away and doing the things I need to do. But don't tell me I have to. I have to do it. I have to shut down my business. I have to do all this other stuff. And then you're going to keep my kids out of school, and then you're going to expect them to be educated when they get back there? You already know parents aren't doing enough at home. So all of a sudden, parents get involved with the education. Now, guess who they're looking at? They're looking at Teresa Jacobs. They're looking at the school system and going, how do they allow that in there? Or a parent sees something they don't understand because they've learned it differently.
When I hear that, I think to myself, okay, so what would have been the other plan? What would be, plan A1? What would be the alternative to what we had to face in having,
Well,
the lockdowns,
the
kids
benefit,
staying home,
yeah.
et cetera, et cetera. We
But the
weren't
benefit-
prepared. Let's
but
just
the-
say we just weren't prepared, locally and nationally, for a pandemic, despite the fact that we knew one was coming. Some of us were in better situations to absorb the change. A good part of this population is not. So where do we find a happy medium? Where I see what you're saying.
No, I'm not. I'm just pointing out that you have one job, you go into another job. Some people just think you're, padding up your pension. And I'm not saying that about
Right.
Teresa. I'm saying the scrutiny was all eyes get on you at this point, and you get upset when people come to the meetings. Nobody shows up for school board meetings. Nobody.
Thank you.
It's like,
Thank you.
I've been in school board meetings. I've seen swearing in sessions that have less people than what was coming out when they were restricting the kids.
Right.
I'm saying parents are being active. That's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing because the school board's not prepared.
That's correct.
And they're making decisions, and then it's not prepared for parents to say, look, to me, this is pornography in this book that you're teaching my kid.
Correct.
Now you have to address that. What is the curriculum? What is this? You can't just say, shut them down, or be like Merrick Garland and say, hey, we're going to treat them like terrorists. We're going to put them on lists. You have to sign up to go there and speak. You have to literally put your name and address there. Right. And now we're going to take that list and send it up to the DOJ. That's what it read to me. And I'm going, okay, listen, I'm outspoken. I'm outspoken. But to be afraid to go have a conversation with my elected officials because you think I might be a terrorist because I disagree with what's in the text.
And on the flip side of that, Joel, that list is public. And I could be sitting at home watching the Board of County Commissioners meeting or the school board, any of these publicly televised meetings.
Yep.
And write down people's addresses one by one. It's all public. So I get the concern about the DOJ, getting this list and say, okay, we're going to target these people, whatever, or any government entity or non-government entity. However, it's part of our.
Oh no, I got look.
It's law.
The sunshine law part of it, I get. The part I don't get is the memorandum that says they may be terrorists, and that ties into Oath Keepers. That ties into there's a group out in Seminole. They're gonna work real hard tonight to get their people elected.
Yes.
In the Republican Party is going to meet in Seminole County, and they're going to elect their president, their vice president, their chairman, their vice chairman, their secretary, and their treasurer, for sure.
Correct.
And they have lined up so many different people. I've told a couple of people that I just want to run maybe so I can have a conversation, because we have an organization that is it's very outspoken, and it's called Moms for Liberty, and it's one of those groups that is totally disappointed, totally upset on how the school board came out up in Seminole County, because we just added 2 Democrats. Now we have 3 Democrats on the. Okay, it's a nonpartisan. You're not supposed to know that. Okay, woo, we all know. So where do they go? Moms for Liberty is already upset because of all the stuff we've been talking about. Like they saw the they saw the in-home education process and they went freaked out.
Sure.
And I understand, but also there's a point where you're just over the top.
Mhm.
There is a point where you've become so radical that you need to stay in your corner because you're dangerous.
Mhm.
That's what the DOJ was saying, but they didn't say it right.
Right.
So we're gonna have Seminole County. They're gonna make their elections,
Oh, fun.
and it's gonna be either one group of people
Yes.
or the other group of people. And the reason I hate grouping people, but there are in our organization people that believe the Constitution is literal, and then you listen to them, and then you hear that they don't believe in the amendments to the Constitution because they only believe in the Constitution. Wait a minute, you do know that we made the document amendable. Shoot, you and I have talked about what I take out, and I'm sure there's something in there you take out.
Sure.
But I'm just excited tonight. If anybody is interested, yes, you have to pay attention to Seminole County tonight. I do know that Mark Bush, the commissioner from Castleberry,
Okay.
he'll be running for chair, and Joy Ashlock, I can't remember exactly what her name is. Joy is running as vice chair, and has gotten an endorsement from Corey Mills. So
Oh, okay.
that's a double-edged sword. I mean, I love Corey. I just don't know if endorsing at the Republican level, but why would you go down there? Like, this is where
I think it's a wise move.
I'm not saying it's a bad move. I'm saying it's going to be questioned
Sure.
because the congressman just got elected and now he's trying to take the party under control.
Yes.
And I get that. But the people that I think that congressmen should be trying to get under control and back in the party happen to be sitting in elected positions right now. So I think Jay Zenbauer, I think Amy Lockhart, I think these people on the county commission, they never saw
Right.
Stephanie Murphy.
Right.
The place where I would be is Washington and the commission.
Correct.
I would visit every commissioner. I would visit every single local politician as soon as possible and just listen. Just listen to what they have. And let the party do what the party does, because they're gonna have a whole year
Mhm.
to organize and get this together.
Right.
I don't think Mark Bush can raise money. I mean, he ran for Congress, twice, and I've seen how he fundraises. It's not good. Maybe Joy is the reason she's on the ticket, but you know me. The only reason you have a party is to raise money so that you can help candidates. And if you can't do that, sure, the door knocking and all the other stuff comes into play, but you have to put the organization together to do something.
Right.
And you have to be able to pay for it. And I don't want to be the politician. Why do you think those politicians I just named aren't in the party? Like, they're not down in the party every single month. It's because they've given up on it. It doesn't work.
Right. And I can say that about the Democrats who have their organizational meeting this Saturday. Unfortunately, I'll be out of town. However, I'm sure my people who will be there will, send me text messages and let me know what's going on. et cetera,
Let me
et cetera.
know. Let me know if any ballots get rejected because they're not printed and signed. Bad joke. Bad joke.
We'll have to flip through the bylaws and figure out, okay, is the signature right? Was it, in on the line or under the line or on the line? What we got to look at the bylaws and check that
See, I love it, John. I have John on here, so you can see that somebody is actually paying attention to us because, like, I don't think anybody would. But I get excited, David, because I get to see somebody leave the chairmanship worse off than he took it and not even know it for the Democrats.
Right.
Like, I mean, well, we just had we suffered a lot, and but at least we got our people elected. You got your people elected by the skin of your teeth, and you should have had like double digits on everything. The fact that you left a one commissioner hanging, and the Republican commissioner, hey, she got elected with no problem. That's
an impressive one.
That's an issue. That's an issue. Because you're the Democrat, you have your Democrats. The only one you had, Jerry, didn't have to worry about Jerry. Right. You needed to worry about Maribel, and you needed to worry about Christine. Christine, if you got Christine off of there, you would have wiped out all the Republicans. And that would have been your shot to be able to brag and lead. And Christine Moore is an excellent commissioner. I'm not talking bad about her, and I'm not telling you that I was full on with her because I'm a Republican and I want her on there. And it's like I have to figure out what he did wrong because numbers wise he should have smoked it.
And when I look back on that election, and I'd love to have Commissioner Moore join us.
Oh, I would love it.
And believe that will happen. And also Ms. Bethany Hall join us to talk about that particular election. Because it seemed like the Bethany Hall contingency campaign was a credible challenge to Christine Moore. And I remember having conversations with Sandra and with Christine. And I was like, wow, this is the election to watch.
I thought so.
And when the results came out, I was like, okay, so much for the Democratic challenge.
Well, it didn't.
The Democrats were so involved.
It did
so
not.
Involved.
It did not.
That was an omen for a harbinger for what happened in November, since that election was in August.
But now I got to make sure that everybody realizes, because I talk a lot in negatives here. I'm a Republican, and I'm happy to have Christine Moore on the commission. And what I heard coming from the ground was totally different than the vote. And that's all I'm trying to say. Sure. And you have a leader who's so caught up in his own life that he doesn't. What effort did he put in? I'm just asking. Maybe we can have him have him come in when he's no longer the chair and say what he did do, what he's proud of.
Sure.
And then what maybe he could have done better.
I'd love to entertain the Orange County Democratic chair, or soon to be former chair, after Saturday, and also the soon to be former chair of the Orange County Republican.
Right.
It'd be nice to get some insight, since they're not in their roles, won't be in their roles, and hopefully can speak freely.
At least that's what I've been told, and I'm hearing from the Republicans is that Charles is going to run again. So.
Oh, really? Okay.
Isn't going to run again.
Oh, it's not.
That's what I've heard. But remember, I have been out of Orange County politics trying to figure out Seminole County politics because they're two totally.
Yes, they are.
They're two totally different animals, and we have 67 counties.
Yeah.
And 67 of these organizations work very different. If I went to Broward County, those Republicans are totally different
Right.
than,
Congratulations, Robert Republicans.
well, they want to get elected.
Mm-hmm.
They need to get elected.
Yep.
So you have to kind of give and take and morph a little bit. So, you know, the only ones that are going to get elected happen to not be the ones that we would vote for in a very red county. So they have to be a little bluer. They have to be a little bit more moderate. So the whole organization has over time morphed that way. Not Orange. Orange has no reflection of the community around them. They have no reflection. They are hardcore, you know, red as red can be.
Sure.
And they don't reflect the community. And I'm not saying, oh, we need a bunch of moderate. No, I'm saying they are not a reflection of the Republicans that live and work in the county. So I don't know how you get your message across to those people that are sitting at home going, oh, he said something bad. Oh, because they're sitting there and the feedback I got, and I want to say this very clearly, this is the feedback I got from many of the Republicans that do not that vote but are not active
Okay.
in a liberal county.
Okay.
Typically, they're embarrassed of what the party is doing, what they look like, and you can say, well, the media is the one trashing us or this and that. No, they're embarrassed to have the R. A lot of them, there are a lot of Ds doing the same thing. We're going to have more NPAs eventually, and we're going to have the extremes picking everything.
And that's unfortunate.
So bringing America together again is hopefully we can take those far right and far left and at least get them a little bit closer to the middle where they can actually get things done. And that's the whole purpose of bringing America together again.
Correct.
And I'm excited to know that the board is in place. I'm excited to see where they go, because I think that anybody who wants to be educated, anybody who wants to get out there is going to have this opportunity, because leadership class, right? We're not going to tell you what to do as far as your policies.
Mm-hmm.
Your policies are yours. We're going to make sure that you understand that if you take a policy position, you better be able to defend it.
Right.
If you want to increase spending, you better have an answer for the people on where you're going to get the money to pay for it.
That's right.
And vice versa. Like if you're going to take a woman's right to choose past the 15 weeks, you're going to have to understand there's going to be some pushback, right?
Correct.
We can do this any different way, but right now, Democrats have nothing. I mean, it is DeSantis's government for at least the next 2 years.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
And it's going to be his agenda. And if you hate him already, I don't know. California's taking applications. They have housing available, probably more than we do here. I'm just, yeah, I'm out of here. I've talked enough on that, because I'm just trying to express, David, that I'm excited to work with you, because we do those things. We do get in there and we talk about these things, like infrastructure. Okay, the infrastructure bill gets passed, but whose infrastructure bill was it originally? Well, it was your fault. You didn't pass it. And then we all voted against it because they added Green New Deal.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't you pass it when you had it? I talk about this all the time, because you can't make this shit up. It's like you have control. Mitch McConnell's my favorite. Anybody who's been there a long time is my favorite. Because if you stay in Washington long enough, you've been on both sides of the same issue. You've been defending, not putting a Supreme Court justice on there,
right,
and you defending why you need to rush one on there. So you can't make this shit up, and you stay there long enough. It's just like, okay, who's in power now? Oh, they like the power. oh, they don't like to not have power.
I'm looking forward to the next 2 years of DeSantis and having the super majorities that he has and actually showing up. I mean, really, okay, now you've got what you paid for. And yes, the Republicans paid for this flourishing Republican government. Let's see what you're going to produce.
If you read my book, you would have known that that's the only way to get it. I mean, very seldom does money lose. Like somebody can spend, okay, I'm sorry, I got to go here. Somebody can raise a lot of money, spend a lot of money, and come in third place.
That's true.
Okay, that we've seen.
We see it, yeah.
But that's because there's no plan on the spending, right?
Right.
There was no
Strategy.
there was no strategy behind it. Look, we're going to raise you a lot of money. Well, where were your signs? Where was your
army?
You had
Talking to voters.
that's the thing. So I'm saying, like, that's, to me, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
The Republicans had the opportunity to spend money, and they did. And I hope every single one of those dollars is a positive. I'm excited to see what they do.
Me too.
And remember, I'm a guy that I support DeSantis. I love DeSantis, but I'll be the first to say, scratch my head when he wants to say that, the cruise line industry can't do what they want to do when they're a private business.
Right.
Right. That's so I'll question my own party when I go, yeah, you do know some countries you need certain vaccinations to get into. So, vaccine passports, maybe that's too far, but a private business can require certain stuff. And
right.
I sit back and I go, well,
and then he dwells into these, woke cultural issues and battles, and say, but hopefully he can move away from that and concentrate on
you're gonna
making Florida stand out as a place that is good to the environment.
You got to understand,
good to business, good to its citizens.
You got to understand, David. I'm just going to say this: DeSantis understands if you're woke, you'll go broke. Okay, and New York is an example. New York's an example. Any place that shut down their stuff and just look, Cuomo. Wait a minute.
Well,
isn't this the saying that? But isn't this the same?
20,000 plus lives.
I'm saying you literally. Okay, DeSantis, the very first thing he did. This affects old people.
And people like
nursing,
myself
who
have
I get it, but no, what I'm saying,
issues.
What was number one in the science? Number one, old people.
Yes.
Number one.
Yes.
What did he do? He went to the nursing homes, made sure that they were, and I'm not going to use the word lockdown, but he made sure that visitation was restricted, that the actual employees were doing that, or were doing what they were supposed to. Okay. Not like in New York, where this affects old people, and you send COVID patients to the nursing home.
Let's stick with Florida. What's good for the nursing homes in Florida is not good for the rest of us.
I'm saying he starts there, and then he worked on each issue. You go straight to where the biggest problem is, and you back off of it. And I'm saying,
and he really backed off. I mean, it
so
just dropped off the cliff.
And then the numbers then went down,
or did they?
They went up. Listen, if you died of a hemorrhoid, okay, you had COVID in you. You were determined to have died from COVID.
I like to see evidence of that.
Okay, Meatloaf died of natural causes, COVID. Really?
I like to see that.
I don't know what he died of, but if he died of COVID,
I'm just saying if there were efforts to keep one population, one demographic safe, why not for the general public to get rid of this virus or whatever it was? Get rid of this virus so that we,
David, you're gonna
as many people.
David, you're gonna make everybody in the world hate me, because you know what? I believe in science, and I believe that we've done great work.
Yes.
the population of our planet is 8 billion.
We need to thin that.
So Democrats cannot continue to, they cannot continue to deny the fact that, okay, gays, they want to have babies, but they can't, so they have to find a way. We want abortion, we want all these things. We'll get into those conversations, but everything Democrats do, from my perspective, is population reduction.
Wow.
If you really look at it, the LGBT community, love them, have no problem with them, but if you're gay, you can't produce children. Literally, so you have to have somewhere in there. Right. So, but it's not producing children. Abortion is not producing children. Right? Everything is geared for population decrease because of the amount of spending they need to do to take care of everybody. So, for the Democrats to actually come out and say mask and this and that and everything else was kind of funny, because the natural order of things, we aren't having major wars. No World War I, World War II. Okay, there's a natural progression. Yes, we want to protect everybody, but people die. People died with COVID in their system, and COVID didn't kill them. But it's their whole life. Everybody will believe that's what they died of, because that's what's annotated on there. There's no evidence, not 100% evidence, unless they actually were on the respirator and everything. But they tied every death that had COVID in the system. So I mean, I'm going a little overboard, but
no, I like to explore that in the future.
I take care of myself.
Right.
Look, I got the Jensen vaccine. I got the booster, the Jensen booster.
Johnson?
It's Johnson. It's actually called Jensen. So,
Educated.
So it's on my record. So I told you what I did today. So I took my 2 vaccines because I have collapsed, but I've collapsed both my lungs. I've literally had surgery to expand my lung and have it connected, because I can't do scuba diving now. So I'm restricted, but I take care of myself and I take care of the people around me. My wife got, I forgot, I don't have them backwards, but my wife and daughter had the other vaccines, the Pfizer and the Moderna. The side effects, the misery they went through. But we did the things we were supposed to.
Protect yourselves.
No, to protect others.
Okay.
I haven't had COVID. And I have not been locked down at all. The entire time I was out, go to the office, go here, go there. Hey, you guys weren't on the road. It just made it easier for me to get around.
Mayor Demings, did you hear that? We have a
Mayor Demings, I lived in Seminole, so I just happened to come into your county because your taxes are lower. Oh, you didn't. And they're still lower.
They're still lower. The mayor can, talk about that.
See, you have a positive. Lower taxes. Democrat County has lower taxes than Seminole County. Osceola, they couldn't even raise a penny. And you thought you could? I'm sorry. I keep saying I'm done, but you can't make this shit up. You got to have fun. Oh, shoot. We only have 6 minutes left. What can we do in 6 minutes?
Who's our sponsor today?
Oh.
Well, let's talk about bringing America together. Because
no, that's bringing America to look. For those that are bringing America together again, is actually Bata 21 Incorporated. Bringing America Together Again was formed in 2021. That's why it's called BATA 21 Incorporated. The purpose is a 501c4, and I'll say 4 really loud because we are an educational tool. So what we're going to do is we're going to have our podcast. We're going to educate people on voting. We're going to educate people on what the liberal politics are, what the conservative politics are, what the positions are, what the platforms say. So you guys can't like, hey, do you know that the Republican platform actually has statehood for Puerto Rico? You would know that because everybody says Republicans don't want Puerto Rico to become a state. So if you went to their platform, you'd be wrong. So no, we're going to dig into those platforms and have those conversations. But the biggest thing is a leadership academy.
Yes.
I'm so excited about the leadership academy. An academy that's going to actually teach people. It's going to literally teach, I'm using literally perfectly this time. Literally going to teach them what it will be like to be the political leader running for office. Because you can go through all these other leadership academies and all this other stuff. They teach you all these things, and you come back and you run for office because you think, I got it down. Nope. The first 5 people you ask for money say no. And the rest of the day, you don't call anybody. Well, what's that about? Because you asked for the money for yourself. When you should have been thinking, what's my strategy? Well, how am I going to win? First thing, I call you up and I say, David,
Yes.
where's my check? You know we have to keep this seat. And I'm the best candidate for the job. And the reason is because I have the education. I have the resume to go with it. And I take care of people like you. So send your $1,000, send your $5,200, whatever you're asking for, 58, whatever.
Ooh, do I make that check
You
out?
just tell them, I'm going to send Joel over to pick that check up. And you'll be amazed. People that give to winners. Once you go out there and you ask for money and you lose, you only get one more try. So we always say 3 tries and you're done, because you can't go to the well a third time. And the third time is probably worse than any of the other 2 times because you have no money. So the Leadership Academy is going to really teach. I'm not going to raise money for you. You're going to raise money for yourself because you're going to have the self-confidence to know when I pick up that phone, I need to tell them why I'm the right candidate for the job and why I have to have the money. The money is not for me. Not a dime goes to me. I don't use it to buy clothes or buy food. I buy advertising time. I buy mail time, the mail. What you're going to buy. So don't worry about it. It's for you to help me win.
You can guide them.
So I'm excited about BATA 21 Incorporated, bringing America together again. It's the most exciting thing, especially since I was up in Washington, D.C. The response for BATA 21 is good. The people like it, even the hardcore right and left. They understand there needs to be an organization that will help them work together, because we can't continue down the path we're on. So, and again, I said it this morning, I'll say it on the, you can't make this shit up. I am recalibrating my book. I am making grammatical corrections and spelling corrections and everything else. And the best part about it is I'm going to also do an audio.
All right. Excellent.
So if we don't get kicked off this thing, because my power is like saying low battery, I didn't have it plugged in, see. But you know, we have 45 seconds, and there's 45 seconds just long enough to say, we love you. And just remember, if it's crazy, it's insane. You can't make this shit up. Share it with us. Share it on our social. Get on our social. Like it. Get on there. LinkedIn, Instagram, all the platforms. Twitter's better than ever.
Oh yes.
I mean, I don't care what you say. Twitter is better now.
I'm more on Twitter now than I was a year ago.
I know, it's just like it's exciting, especially when somebody tells you they're getting they say I'm getting the hell off. and then they answer everybody why they're still there.
Exactly.
Love it. See ya. Wouldn't want to be you.